Hello and welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. So I'm going to help you trying to figure out this whole mess with tube amplifiers. We have some good tube amplifiers from AudioNote, and then we have some yeah some really good speakers, like for example Peak Consult, Martin Design, Verity Sarastro, and we've got some Karma speakers, and then of course the best AudioNote speakers. Sorry. Um, so how do we make all of this come together? Let me help you with that, guys. So basically, the hierarchy as way AudioNote are trying to present themselves is it's basically going like this, and then the next models are going like this, and then like this. Personally, I prefer the Otto, the Maisho here, the Maisho Tonmeister, and then the Ongaku. That does not mean that the others are bad. It's just a personal preference for me. Cobra is a bit unusual. That's like the entry way to getting into AudioNote. It's not the best AudioNote integrated sound, but it's like a good compromise where you have a built-in DAC, a lot of power, and you can put it on a pretty regular speaker. I wouldn't say B&W monitor audio stuff like that, but like a half good speaker. Maybe even something like a half good Martin Design Verity or something like that. But let me just help you guys with a bit of technical matter. I generally suggest when you're dealing with an 85 to 91 dB speaker that you have the Cobra, the Jinro, the Tomai, and the Ongaku. And also, by the way, so you guys know, this is how the pricing kind of works. It works in this order here. So yeah, you can actually run speakers that are 85 to 91 dB generally. It of course depends on the ohm load and other circumstances, but generally you can run speakers on these things, these amplifiers, and it does sound pretty good. But it sounds a hell of a lot better when you go and pair it with an AudioNote preamp, and as far as I know, the Jinwo, Tomai, and Gaku are the ones that are able to do that. I don't think the other ones are able to do that. So let's just say that you are in a situation where you have some kind of a speaker, like the Dragon Legend from Peak Consult. Peak Consult, this is one of the the best speakers in the world. Also one of the most expensive ones. But look, it's got 94 dB. Got some pretty awesome specs. I would theoretically run this with let's just see. I would run it with the Ongaku, Tomai, or the Jinro, but you could also stretch the truth and run it with an Otto that's only 10 watts. But then I would have to suggest that you take at least the Phono SA signature, more like the silver signature, and then you have a relatively small room, only 30, 40, 50 square meters. That would be able to do the job. I mean, that's a powerful amp. I would, though, recommend, if it's possible, going with these. These are a lot more powerful, and especially with the preamp. But it's just to let you guys know that these are exclusive integrated amplifiers, and you should put an exclusive speaker like Peak Console, Dragon Legend, stuff like that on it. It could also be one of the smaller models that they have, you know. Not necessarily this, could be one of these models, but that's possible. That is possible. You don't absolutely have to have an audio note speaker. It does sound a hell of a lot better, but this is pretty good. This is pretty good. We've got one of the best speakers in the world, Martin Design Bird speaker, and yeah, I was told by a guy that who knows his shit that he would use Jinro Tomai or Ongaku on Martin Design, especially the bird speakers, and that would be a really good fit. You wouldn't want to put an 8 watt Maishu Tonmeister or Otto on it, a normal Otto. You could probably put a silver model on it, but that could also be interesting. But still, you want to keep it as powerful as possible. So that's how you do it. It's a really good speaker, by the way. And they make really good speakers, Martin Design. I've heard most of their speakers, but I have to say that the lower models, you know, you can't really call them Martin Design. That's my opinion. The very, very cheapest models, like the 3 or 4 or 5 cheapest models, I would not bother with that. I would just save up for the bigger Martin Design speakers. I mean, Martin Design usually starts being good around this level, the Heritage series, and then you have to go up to this series where it gets quite a bit better, and the Coltrane. I really like the Coltrane ones. Those are some of the very best ones. Just awesome. And how many dB are they at? 88 or something like that. Yeah, you would probably have to run at least, I would say, an Ongaku on it, and if you could run it with a preamp, but even better, if you've got a ridiculous amount of money, double Ongaku and a really good preamp from AudioNote, then you're like set for life there. That's an awesome speaker, the Coltrane one. But let me just show you some things here. We've also got the Veritas Sarastro, and that's a surprisingly efficient speaker. I mean, it doesn't run fantastically good on the normal versions of Maishu Tonmeister. It will only just be able to run, but like even the top version here, that's only like 8 watts. Seriously, it would run really, really well on it. They're very powerful, even though they're only 8 watts. And same with Otto, the top models, top 2 or 3 models, they would run really good on Verity. But you might as well also just run Jinro Tomai and Ongaku, just a hell of a lot better. Very interesting speaker. I really like this speaker. And also, I have to also mention, since we're in here, Verity Audio, the Amadis speaker is also pretty darn good. If there are 2 speakers that really show the best of Verity Audio, it's the Sarastro and the Amadis. I've heard the Parsifal Anniversary. It's good, pretty good. But I think that it's just not quite there compared to the others. It's a substantial degradation of sound going from this to this. So Otello, I haven't yet heard. Interesting, they're using some new materials on that. Lacme, haven't heard it. Interesting concept, 3 drivers. I heard it before with the Lenore that they had. This could be very interesting in a small room, but look at the efficiency, That's a bit troubling. I wouldn't bother with the cheaper stuff like the fins. You have to have like a 15-20 square meter room for those to really sound okay, and then you need a subwoofer with it. I wouldn't do that. Personally, I don't like the Lohengrin's. I've heard them once, and just like my friend told me, I just found them a bit messy in sound. Just too much going on, It's just, I found it a bit out of control, but still awesome speaker. But also you need some very special gear and a special room for that, so I wouldn't even bother with that. For me, Verity is just two products, uh, and that's the Serasto and the Amatis. Those are really, really, really awesome speakers. So if ever you guys want to get some really good speakers with some really good amps, that's the solution here. And Karma Audio, yeah, just they make some really good sound. Very, very, very honest. A bit on the harsh side. Fabulous sound. Really expensive. But in the end, if you want to get 2, 3, 4 times more performance, you have to have an audio note speaker. And then we've got, I think, around 18 models here. And for me, audio note just basically exists on this last line of A&E speakers, where the way I see it is that you've got the LX, and you have a giant jump to this one I have, the SPHE, and then you have a giant jump again to the SEC Silver, and then you have a giant jump again to the Sogon and the Soto. Those are like, for me, those are like the definition of the best speakers in the world. And I feel that those models kind of give you the best value almost ever. The LX speaker and the SPE there it is. In particular, those are like crazy value speakers. And once we get up in this territory, around here, it just gets crazy price-wise. I mean, the sound gets obviously a lot better. There's more depth. There's more slam. It's a lot more pressure, and it just it just gets a hell of a lot better. And you really notice this when you go from the copper parts to the silver parts. You can see mine ends around here, and this is just crazy sound, but it's also a crazy price. So yeah, that's basically how it works. That's how I would go about it. And personally, I wouldn't bother with the Zero or the Cobra. And now Maestro is sadly discontinued because it's gone over to Tonmeister. The Jinro and the Tomai are good. Don't get me wrong, and the Ogako is also really good. But price wise, these are like pretty expensive. So personally, if you're a guy that wants to taste audio note and you really want a lot of value out of that brand, just go with the Otto or the Soul. But I think the Otto is a bit better. And Maestro Tonmeister, those are like the two best value options that I think personally that Audio Note has. The rest is fantastically good in a different way, and I would probably also pick that if I had more money. But just ridiculous, And I just find it funny looking at this and then having them place the Otto all the way up here as if it's not really good. But trust me, the Otto is one of the best ever amplifiers in this world. And when you look at this hierarchy, you might think, I don't know if I really should take an Otto because it's all the way up there, It might not even beat Macintosh and Pass Labs and stuff like that. Everything on this list, I'm not sure about this one, I0. This is the one I really haven't heard yet. And the Cobra, I've only heard a friend talking about that. Um, this will beat almost anything on the market when you go with the last levels here. Silver signature, and the Phono SE signature. Those will basically beat almost all transistor gear on the market, with the few exceptions of maybe Spectral and Negra when that's set up properly on a really good speaker. Maybe Negra and Spectral might beat it. Maybe it's very very close. But just realize that these are the lower levels of audio note, and they actually beat basically everything in the world that's called transistor gear. That's just crazy, you know. This is gear only costing like, I don't know, a fifth or a tenth sometimes of that gear, and this is 10-watt gear outperforming 100, 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000 watt amplifiers from Macintosh and Past Labs. It's just, there's just no competition signature wise, and structurally. This is just so much more better. And yeah, if you want that cool suppressive sound, if you want to look at watt meters, fine, then go and pay for the other stuff. But this is the really good stuff. And personally, this is my favorite amplifier. I've heard it once. I think it was in Germany, and it was just so intimate, so natural. I would even think personally, I would prefer this personally compared to the Ongaku, because value wise, I feel that this here on the top level is like a third of the price of this. But, big caveat to that. When you then get an Ongaku and you put like a M6, M8, M9, M10 definitely preamp on it, of course it totally disintegrates the Tonmeister, even the biggest model that they have. It does. And then when you get a double Ongaku with even one of the smallest preamps from Audio, it also totally disintegrates the Tonmeister. But then you're also up in some crazy prices, and then you basically have the best gear possible in the world. I've never been a fan of Audio power amplifiers. I've heard most of them, and they are really good. But the problem I have is just that price-wise, I feel that when you have an Auto and a Maisho Tonmeister, you're just getting more value. Some people might disagree with me. I mean, there are some people that prefer the Conquest monoblocks with like an Audio Note preamp, and don't get me wrong, that sounds good in a different way. I just feel that price wise, the Auto is just like a clear winner. You know, the Auto top 3 models are still way cheaper than most of the best transistor gear on the markets. And I'm running this here. I've got this level here. I'm running a 10-watt amp in a room that's almost 50 square meters, of course with an Audio Note speaker. But I was also able to run it on an 85 dB speaker. I mean, it was running and it sounded pretty cool. Of course, the sound was a bit squashed, and I had to kind of pull it out, because 85 dB speaker, on a 10-watt amp, you shouldn't think that that's possible. But yeah, it's possible because it had a reasonably stable ohm on those speakers. But just telling you guys, these are things aren't always the way that they seem to be. There's the truth on the surface, and then there's the stuff that I explained to you guys that, tells you quite a different story. So quite interesting though. But that's all for today, and I hope this helps you guys on kind of figuring out the whole top speaker sound combination, because it is possible to run these low watt audio note amplifiers on some pretty good speakers, but I wouldn't generally try these really good amplifiers here on some speakers like B&W or like Monitor Audio or some regular crap. It's just a waste of time. I've actually tried that a couple of times before, and it was just it just sees through your speaker and tells you the harsh truth. And trust me, when you have a bad speaker, you don't want to know what the truth is. So if you have like a half bad speaker, I think it's good what Audio Note did here, that they created the Cobra and the Zero here, because these are like lower amps dealing with the lower gear, but still delivering a good Audio Note sound. I don't have any experience from the Zero, but I heard from a reliable source that the Cobra is really good, generally with speakers that aren't Audio Note, that are decent. So you could, in theory, run a B&W speaker with this Cobra. You could, in theory, but not really a good match. I would probably go with a lower level Verity speaker or something like that. It has to be still pretty decent quality. So I hope that helps you guys. Have a nice day, and try and leave a comment and a like.